This episode of A Hero's Journey podcast is brought to you by S&P Inc., JPS Computers, and my newest sponsor, Red Rock Harley Davidson, right here in Las Vegas. Producer Chase and I have had a blast doing this show, bringing on different guests, and each story itself, it's kind of wild because I've seen the effect happen almost immediately with people inspiring others to do things. Even my own son reached out to me and said, I've been binge watching your episodes, Dad, and I'm down 75 pounds because you had this guest on, and then just listening to their stories and the people that say yes to things and take on challenges and new things. Well, so I want to say it was like 2.5 years ago, maybe two. It was like right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I had to get a job. You know, the entertainment industry just crashed. There was nothing going on. And I went and got a job at Red Rock Harley Davidson that gave me a home. And they sent me out to show off this new electric bike. And I knew barely anything about Harleys, but I did ride my Harley in today to do the show. But that day, this girl rolls in, and she's beautiful. She knew way more about Harleys than I did. And she was teaching me stuff. And she was like the spokesmodel for the day. And just, it was awesome to just sit and listen to her experiences. And over time, we became friends. And I follow her on social media. I watch her do what she's doing. And I said, you gotta come on my show. There are people out there that, one, won't believe what you do. Two, that you can't judge the book by its cover. Just because she's beautiful doesn't mean she's not smart, that she's not talented, that she can't ride a Harley, that she can't do the things that we're going to talk about today. And I want to introduce you to my guest today. She's my friend, Kayla Perez. It's a pleasure. Say your last name, Perez. Perez. See, there you go. But you said it in the Latin. Perez. There we go. Perez. Isn't she beautiful, Chase? Come on.
I mean, I can't tell a lie. Of course.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So, you know, it's wild. So I met you, and you rode to that event that we did. She rides her Harley to the event. And I'm like, wait a minute, you ride? And you were like, yeah, I do. So tell everybody, what do you ride?
Yeah, so I have a Iron XL Sporty 883, and I bought it from one of my best friends in California, and I've had it ever since. It's been the only bike I've been married to.
I love it.
We've been through a lot, and I've ridden it thousands of miles, and it's still a great quality bike. It'll always be my bike.
So, you know, what you don't know is that I would help sell a Harley to a female at Red Rock, right? And I would use you as an example. Constantly. I'd use you as an example because the approach that you, like you just said, you're married to it. It was like, it's a part of you. It's an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
And there was a day that you came into Red Rock, and I remember I ran over, gave you a hug, and I said, what are you doing? You said, I'm getting my bike checked out because I'm jumping on this thing and I'm going to go camping by myself. Where were you going?
Sedona at that point. I think
it was a canyon. It wasn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, so I went to Sedona and the Grand Canyon.
There we go.
And kind of just went all over the place, just wherever the wind takes me. I don't really have a full itinerary. Just
it was awesome.
Just go on a journey, and I pack it up to the brim. And it's funny because it's a Sportster, so it's not really a tour bike.
No.
But I make it a tour bike.
You do, and it's all done up. And I was pointing out how you had, it looked like 2 water bottles on the front, just above the forks.
Yep.
And there was gas in those.
Yeah, so La Rosa makes these great gas tanks that, because Sportster's 2-gallon tank.
Right.
So you will run out of gas immediately, which I did, and these tanks will save your life.
Yeah.
Especially if there's a detour, which what happened to me, and there's one in the back in the saddlebag.
Oh, I didn't know there was another one too.
Yeah, it's like a little tiny saddlebag, and there's 3 total.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So there you go. But you come in, and I got to get to all of this stuff. I can't even get to all the things you do. You are a rock climber.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you? What do you? What do you call that?
Yeah. Well, I enjoy rock climbing. I'm definitely learning still.
Okay.
But during COVID, I wanted to get over my fear of heights, so I started rock climbing.
So you have a fear of heights?
I had a fear of heights.
Oh, I have.
The only way to get through is face your fears.
Right.
And I knew that, so I decided to go climb some walls in the gym, and I met this guy, Paul, and he's been my climbing partner since, and he's one of the best climbers I know personally. And climbs, there's different grades. So he climbs some of the hardest stuff, and he's pushed me and he's guided me. So I've been climbing at least once or twice a week.
Wow. Yeah. I just commented on something that you did the other day, because you were climbing, and your rock climbing partner was basically hanging off the it was like coming out and just hanging over, and I was just my palms are sweating just talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'll tell you about that. That's it's Podacy. It's called Podacy. Okay. It's on Blue Diamond. And tradition is that it was Alex Honnold was out there. He's like, hey, you have to. It's tradition. It's your first time out here. You have to rope swing, and so everyone does it that climbs. And so what you do is you climb to the top. It's this cave. And on the top of the cave, you jump from the rope, and it's this huge pendulum swing. And you're basically free falling for a little while, and it's terrifying. But
you did it?
I did it, yeah.
Wow.
I just saw Jared Leto posted a few days ago. He did it too.
Out there, or just no way?
Yeah, all the pros climb out there, so it's kind of it's the pro spot.
Okay, well.
I'm just trying to fit in.
But see, no, I watch you, because we'll get into the other things that you do as well. But you, I watch you train for taking mountains. Don't be shy. I want to know out there what you do, because last time I saw you, you said you were training to take some big mountain, and I see you sleeping in a tent inside your home. Mm-hmm. And training with a mask on and things like that. So talk about that. What is it that you're doing?
Yeah, so that is high altitude mountaineering, high altitude climbing, and basically you're climbing over a certain range of mountains. So most notorious is the Himalayas, the highest mountains in the world. I just got to that, but I started off in the South Pacific Northwest. My first mountain was Mount Shasta. And I actually Googled it during COVID because I was so fascinated by mountains. And I decided to just go out there and do it by myself. I didn't know anything about mountain climbing. I said, listen, let's just figure it out. And Intro to Mountaineering popped up. American Alpine Ascent was my first guide. And I met this girl, Kim, and she was this cute blonde guide. Mm-hmm. But she was a total badass. And I was so inspired. And she really taught me a lot, and her and I are good friends now. But it just it grew on me, because it is true suffering. And when I say suffering, you are cold, you are freezing, you can't breathe. You're getting headaches, you're getting acute mountain sickness. You are probably at the brink of dying. I was actually in Nepal. So for me, I got HAPE, which is high altitude pulmonary edema. So I had trained months for this climb.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how much you train for a climb. It matters how your body reacts at altitude, and everyone's different.
Everyone's gonna be different, right?
Yeah. So I'm training for this big Himalayan peak. This past, I climbed it in October, and my ascent to Camp 1, I started feeling symptoms of shortness of breath. I started feeling fatigue. I started feeling headache, and I had to descend the next day. And so Nim's our leader. Nim's Dai.
Okay.
Makes all the shots. He said, look, come down, take a moment, take a few days to recover. So actually that night, I woke up in the middle of the night, couldn't breathe. He said, you got to descend down to Lukla because the only way, he said, you have pulmonary edema, which is swelling of the lungs. You have
wow.
moisture in the lungs. And
Okay.
if you don't descend, you will die. So he put me on a helicopter, went down to Lukla, which is 5,000 feet, and I recovered there. And the next day he said, okay, come back, try again if you're feeling up for it. He's very cautious about
Right.
stuff like that. So I go up, take a few days, go back to Camp 1 and still feel the same. But apparently it takes about 2 weeks at least to recover.
To
something
recover.
like that. So
But you still went for
I
it,
still
even
went
though
for it.
knowing that this could.
You know, I was, it was a big decision, but I said, look, I have to go for it and I have to give my all and I have to push through it. But there are limits too, right?
Of course.
You don't want to die.
Yeah.
But I know my fullest human potential as well. I
Right.
know that I can push and I know my threshold and I know how far I could push past that. And it's really about building yourself up to the best of your ability and past.
Right.
So for me, yeah, that happened, but it was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. And I came back and I immediately started training again for my next mountain in the Himalayas.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because look, it's a learning lesson. It helps me become a better version of myself.
So what does training indoor? Like, I don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So what's day one of having to train to take this new mountain that you're doing in the Himalayas?
So I switched up my routine and I have a new program. So it's a combination of gym exercises. So you have mountain max training. So strength training, I have a weighted vest. I'll do 1,000,000 step-ups.
Wow.
So you're in the gym doing a bunch of Stairmaster step-ups, but a lot of mountain climbing as well.
Okay.
So I'll have a heavy pack on. I'll go up to Turtlehead Peak, do up and back for 3 hours. The next day I'll run 4 miles. But you switch it up. But the key, I think that prevented me from summiting and induced the mountain sickness was not being rested, adequately rested. So if your body is not prepped and you've overtrained, a lot of people overtrain,
Okay.
that will crush you in the mountains.
Wow.
So rest. And for me, I love to push through. I love to give my all. Rest day, I'm still climbing. So I've learned to just kind of step back, let my body absorb the training load, and then keep pursuing at a steady pace. Because when you climb a mountain, it is a steady pace.
Right.
You're not running a marathon.
No.
You know, so even though essentially it isn't the whole marathon, the approach to base camp is 5 days.
Wow.
So that's actually the Everest base camp trek.
Okay, so the mountain climbing, that's walking and then also having to, like, are you having to,
Yeah. So
is like literally where you're
yeah,
tapping
like
in those, what are they called?
So essentially you're on a fixed rope.
Okay.
So you have a Jamar. So in the big mountains, the Sherpas fix the ropes and you're kind of ascending up. So you're pulling yourself up. But some alpine climbing, you are ice climbing as well. So you have double axes and you're still on a rope, you're on belay, but you're, climbing with your crampons and your ice axe. It's a mix. It depends what mountain.
Okay.
They vary in technicality.
Right.
So Ama de Blanc was very, very steep, a lot of rock, kind of vertical. So very technical mountain.
And the fear of heights does that ever kick in? Because I can't even go to literally the top of my, if there was cable or something on the second floor, not even just past the first floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I start sweating and start freaking out.
Yeah.
And I follow you on social media and I watch what you do. And it's crazy to me, like you're saying you're afraid of heights, and there was you were afraid of heights.
Still am.
Wow.
I still am, but I think it's all mental.
Right, of course.
It's all mental, and so in order to achieve a step above that and really address your fears, you have to face them, but breathe. You just gotta breathe. You're in your head and you're thinking, oh my God, what if I fall? We're very secure in our ropes.
Okay.
You have a great team. You're high up. Yeah, it's exhilarating, but I think it's a fear of dying as well. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
It's our brains setting up for survival mode, right? Fight or flight.
Right.
So I think it's just that self-talk that gets you through it. Said, look, okay, we're secure. I might have a good time. This might be fun. This might be terrifying, but I'm not going to die.
Right.
And you have to remind yourself, I will be okay. And the moment you take that first jump or you climb that first wall, you said, oh, this is not so bad.
Right.
Let's go a little bit higher. And you start to build that momentum, little baby steps.
That's really cool. So like on a Hero's Journey podcast, what this is about, it's about stepping into a call to action, and then this new adventure, and then finding like a mentor, somebody who's going, and you've done what you're talking about are all these things, but now you're getting into a space where you're making this norm for you. It's become normal, and now you're pushing it, pushing, and I'm going to take this mountain now, and and those kind of things, which is inspiring. That's what it's all about. Saying yes to things. I think when you came in, I said, I have a new guitar player. He just packed up his stuff from Jersey to join my band. And we met in person for the very first time today. And I'm like, yep, we're hitting the road together next week. And you know what I'm saying? So he took on this new adventure. I'm taking on this new thing. And it's, that's inspiring. So you have this, you also, when I met you, it was like, just as a side thing, you were doing like, you were like the spokesmodel for the day kind of thing out there for Harley, for Red Rock that day. But then you're a personal, you're a flight attendant for private planes, and that's I see you do that too. So it's like, and you're all over the world. You get to fly all over the world. How does that fit in? Do you get to, when you fly in these places, you just set up these new adventures because you get so many days there, or how's that work?
Yeah, so I might be in Hawaii on Wednesday. So
bummer. Yeah.
Hard work.
Yeah.
But it gives me the liberty to be creative in flight. I love flying. I love traveling. It just fits my lifestyle so well.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part is training on the road. But yeah, it kind of, I'm a chameleon. So I really have to roll with the punches. Like I said, I may be in Hawaii, but I may be, you never know. They might call me for a flight for Switzerland tomorrow. And so I have to pack my bags with everything on, a tiny bag with everything available. I have my rash guard for Hawaii, but I might have a coat, going to Antarctica. You never know. So it's exhilarating as well. It's opening up your mind to different places, different foods, different adventures. I was in Belize not too long ago, and I decided to do like a float around the river tour through these caves. They're really known for their caves. And I went by myself. The pilots didn't want to go. So I met this couple, and I had a great time. And it was just the most amazing. They were on a couple's vacation. I was a third wheel, but it was great. It was great. I was like, let me crash your party.
Yeah, how cool.
And then I went scuba diving and, stuff like that. I'll just randomly, okay, where am I going? I'm going to Hawaii. Let's go surf. I don't really surf, but let's take some lessons. Or, let's go on a hike. And I try to tailor it to my climbing, so training. So, okay, I need to do a 3-hour hike with a weighted pack. All right, let's fit that in.
Okay.
So it's interesting to navigate that space with mountains and work and flying and battling flight fatigue and jet lag.
Well, and to Chase, come on, she's beautiful. How do you, you everything that you've been saying has been alone. I'm alone. I go and I do this alone.
Yeah.
So mindset wise, how does that like, you're like, this is my time. Is this how that is? Or is it just, you haven't been swept off your feet? Somebody hasn't come along and just.
It's hard. So
yeah, I mean, I don't mean to take it that way, but I'm sitting here looking at this beautiful woman and everything she's saying is, I do this alone. I do this alone. And these are all great experiences. I'm sure that if you could, you would say you'd want to share it with somebody. These really great moments, but you're so, when I'm around you all the time, I always feel so centered and peaceful because that's the way you are. But no, please, how's that work?
Yeah, so I just got really comfortable being by myself. It's a lot of inner work. It's a lot of, meditation and being comfortable in my own skin, and not really needing people around me to fulfill me. But if I had a partner that loved to do it, absolutely, I'd love to share it with someone. I haven't met anyone that really would love to go on adventures like this.
Right.
I think that I know they have to be open to this lifestyle because it's who I am.
Right.
They don't have to be the same person, but they have to be open-minded.
Right.
And for me, it's my mind is open to that, but it's not out actively seeking that.
Right. And for me, it was the same way. I was 2 years of just, I was like, I'm going to work on myself. And I think when I met you, it was like, no, it was it just come off that 2 years and I had just met Nicole. And, but it was 2 years of just focusing on me. That was it. And that's all I did. And I felt like I was personally ready to be there and share experiences with someone else at that time. But it took a couple of years of just really no one. Like it was like I didn't want anyone around. It was me and my cat. I'm not even lying. It was like she was like that was the comfort and love I needed, and then working out and just working on my music and making sure that those things were meant for me. But I remember the day that we talked about you getting into this private flying, and I think you were having to go to Washington or move away at the time to take on something like this. And I thought, wow, like, how are you going to do it? And it was a 10-minute conversation in passing. And I think probably the same day that you were like, oh yeah, I'm going to just see where the wind takes me. And I might end up at the Grand Canyon tonight camping. And I'm like, by yourself? What?
Yeah.
Do you have a gun, a knife? Can you fight off? Yeah. There you go. I love it. See, don't mess with this girl out there. Come on, you see her? Sorry, wrong girl.
Listen, I hang out with Jamie.
Yes, right? Yeah. Jamie Villamore. She's pretty much a badass.
Total badass.
Yeah. And you were on her show, Dating Intelligence. I had her on too. She's awesome.
She's absolutely amazing.
And that's the same thing. She said the same things in that going after what you want to go after, but there's room for other people, and you can help and inspire, and and like what you're wearing today, it's beautiful. You got to tell me. I know this isn't from here. This has got to be from another country.
It is actually.
Yeah. See, I know you.
The pants are from a small little village in Italy. It's a small little town, and this I bought in Aruba.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's Zara in Aruba.
Okay.
But this was like a little mom and pop shop. Just walking out, and sandals are too. But I love to just go to these little boutique, family-owned places, and they're all handmade, or there's so much passion that goes into the clothing. So I love to. I don't shop a lot, but when I see something like that, I'll add it to my collection.
That's one of my favorite parts about traveling and getting in those mom and pop shops is that they've literally been making these like clothing things for like 1,000 years, and they're just still open.
Right?
Yeah, it's traditions and generations of families there. You know, their kids are running around, and you know, abuelita sewing in the back. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Producer Chase just got back a little while. It was a little while ago, but he was in Austria.
Yeah, I was in Austria for 2 months, and then touring England, singing at some cathedrals over there.
Wow.
Yeah, he's an opera singer.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I am. Yeah, I can give you
That
a
is
little sample later.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would love that. Can we get one now?
Yeah, I know. Come on, man.
All right. I mean,
Yeah, do it. Do
I haven't
it.
sang in a bit. Seigneur, Seigneur, car avec les soldats. That's all you get.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy.
That is wow. That's a gift.
No, it is.
That
It
is a gift. Yeah, I recently saw Andrea Bocelli, and amazing. His whole family sings. Did you know that?
No. Yeah.
His daughter is an amazing singer, and his son, they're just a talented family.
Wow.
Yeah, it was during Christmas. They had a Christmas special.
How cool.
Yeah, yeah. It
How
was
cool.
really
So, what's your favorite place that you've been? Because I see you jet set around.
Mm-hmm.
You go to these different places. I just saw you on a boat.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like I was showing my new guitar player, you know, who I was having on as a guest today,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Dude, she's everywhere. Like you were everywhere." So, is there a favorite place that just stands out?
Yes, here now.
I love that. Wow.
With you guys.
Wow.
I mean, come on, it doesn't get any better.
Thank
You
you.
got opera, you
You
got some rad souls. Love it.
Love this. Thank you so much.
Presents.
Yeah. And, you know, I was sharing that with a friend, and he had to call me. He calls me from New York City, and he goes, "Hey, man, what did you mean about being present?" And I went, "It's being in the moment and be there. Don't worry about what's going on after. Don't worry about what happened yesterday.
Right.
Be in the moment and enjoy it because it's gone. And then you'll think, oh, I did that, but I wasn't really soaking it in. I wasn't taking in the moment." And he was like, "I heard that phrase a couple of times. I didn't know what it meant." And I thought it would be safe to ask you because I had actually said that to him. I said, when you guys get here, I want you to take in sound check. I want you to be present and be in the moment and enjoy the before the show, and after. I've said this to you, huh? You were in Austria, and I said, don't worry about what's going on here. You're not missing out on anything here at the studio. We're going to figure it out without you. I want you to be present. I want you to be in the moment and enjoy it because that 2 months, 7 weeks, whatever it is going to come and go.
So quickly. Yeah. It was like every day you reminded me, just like, because I was so excited to tell you about everything I was up to, and you're just like, look, man, don't worry about it. We'll talk later.
Yeah, you tell me about it later. I want you to enjoy this right now. Like, be there, be in the moment.
Yeah, it's so true. And also, it's a constant reminder. You have to remind yourself
Oh, yeah.
every single moment to be present. Come back. You know, I'm not thinking about what I have to do an hour from now or what I did yesterday. I'm here now. I'm with you. You know, my energy is present. And that's what it's all about.
It's something you said too in your conversation with me about training, where you said you push yourself to these limits. And my son said the same thing. He was like, I'll be done when I'm done, not because I feel like I'm tired or because there's something else I need to get to. It's pushing myself to the point where this was my goal and I did it. I did my goal, not because, I'm tired. No, push through that. Push through tired. Push through, getting lost in, I got to be somewhere else or whatever, or I give myself more time to relax, whatever it is. Pushing yourself. And that's what you've done. You said you were afraid of heights and riding, meaning like riding Harleys.
Yeah.
Why did you say, I want to learn to ride? What was the experience? Where'd that come from?
Ever since I was a kid, I loved motorcycles, and I used to have dreams of riding. And then I started, my first dirt bike that I ever rode on, I was 15 years old, and it was a KX 500. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
My dad said, "Yeah, you can ride it. You got this." And I
couldn't put your feet on the ground.
No, no, couldn't start it. But I just went for it. Wow. My mom didn't love that, but she still doesn't. But I love two wheels, and I always kind of had a fear of riding on the street. So when I moved to Las Vegas, I was in a 3-year relationship, and towards the end of the relationship, I told my partner, I mentioned to him I really wanted a bike. I wanted a Harley, not just a motor. I wanted a Harley.
Right?
I wanted to hear it. It's just something about that, the Harley that just gives you a different feel.
It is.
It's more, for me, it's meditation. I feel like if it was nothing against sports bikes, I love them, but it's not my personality.
Right.
I'm more of a cruiser. But I would have dreams of myself on Harleys, but then I would wake up and have this fear like, oh no, I couldn't ride. And just one day my friend said, "Hey, I know you love Harleys. I'm selling my Harley. Do you want to buy it?" And my partner says, we were already on the rocks. He says, "Look, if you buy this Harley, I'm breaking up with you." And I said, "I'm buying the Harley."
Awesome. Awesome. And you're married to your Harley. I love it. And it's the denim black.
Yeah. It's like that matte black.
Yeah.
Straight pipes. Her name is Black Betty.
Love it.
Just kind of that raw feeling. I didn't want to do too much of the upgrades,
right.
But it really is just, I hop on it and you're present, and you have to be
on a Harley. If you ride, you have to be present. You don't have a choice.
No.
You can't be in a car. You're in a car and potholes, things like that, things in the road, you kind of get away with, not having to worry about those things. On your bike, you have to be aware of absolutely everything. And so even on my ride over here, I went, I'm taking my bike. I gotta take my bike today. And because it was therapeutic, I needed to just be in the moment, enjoy it, come over here and have fun with you and sit down. And again, at the beginning of the show, I had said, you don't, judging the book by its cover. I get that a lot. People judge me. I'm 6'3". They see me and they just assume whatever. And like, I made a point to my girl. We were on a flight, and I said, "This seat will be left open. Like, watch. This is Southwest. They won't sit next to me." And it was. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're right." And then the next time, I said, "They said this flight is full. It'll either be the last one or it'll be open," and it always is. But I've had people on the plane say, I got to admit, I didn't want to sit next to you, but I'm so glad I did, or whatever, because I engage in conversation and have fun with people. But it's the same. You're a beautiful woman and have all these things that you do and inspire, should inspire others, riding. Is there something I don't know about you that you do? Like,
I kind of just live day to day, and whatever I feel like doing that day, I'm going to do, so if it's rock climbing or if it's riding my Harley, or I'm going to scuba dive today, or I'm going to, whatever, something not super adventurous or exhilarating. It could be anything really.
Right.
I'm going to learn French cuisine today. Sometimes I'll get some random thoughts in my head, and I think I'm always learning. I'm always a student, and I'm always engaging with others, and I try to leave everyone better than they found them, energetically, and just engaging, complimenting people, or just smiling. That's who
Huge.
I am. That's my heart, and that's how my mom was, and that's how she raised me and my grandma. And so I'm from Texas as well, so a lot of people from Texas are nice, but it kind of goes ancestral too.
Right.
And that's why we're here. We're here to make the world better than we found it. Leave it better than we found it.
I agree. I make a point to do that. my whole thing, I'm walking down the street and I'm saying hello to people, opening doors for people. I say hi to people at the gym constantly. I've made tons of friends just by, let me give you a spot.
Yeah.
But if they don't know me, I'm like, let me help you because they're alone. They're working out alone, whatever. It's no skin off my back to help somebody out.
Amazing.
Those are the things. That's the way I am. And on the way over here, Abe, my new guitar player, walks in the door. He turns after about an hour of being there. He says to my girl, I took the chance on coming out here and doing this with Brian, joining his band because of his heart. I was sold on his heart. That was it.
Yeah.
And I went, whoa, because that's the goal. Like, you took that mountain and you could have lost your life going after what? An achievement. It was something you were trying to achieve. Yeah. But it wasn't your livelihood. It was you were pushing yourself to do something more than you thought you were capable of, years ago. Now you're capable of it.
Yeah.
I'm going after it. These are the things I have to do to make that happen. That's really cool.
The moment I met you, I knew you had a good heart. You had great energy. And that's why I just gravitated towards you.
Thank you.
He's an amazing human.
Thank you.
And you're that solid, I just feel that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have to put your best foot forward. Look, we don't always have great days.
No, we don't.
Shit happens
all the time. All the time.
And, things are not always going to go your way, but you have to see them as blessings and lessons because they are always teachers. You have to take, this sucks. Yeah, we're emotional beings. Let's react. 5 minutes. Okay, let's draw it back. What can I learn from it? And how do I come up from this? And why is it happening?
Right.
Okay, let's navigate that space. How do I transform from it? How do I grow from it? And how do I inspire others? And I think that's why I climb mountains. It's not for the self-glory. And it's not like, I climbed Everest. It's so I can help others climb their mountain and help them inspire. So there's this metaphor. And I want to train for Everest. So I'm working with a charity in that. But
wow.
It's basically, I tell people, look, we all have our mountains. We're all going through some shit, but you just got to keep climbing. Things are going to happen. Pulmonary edema happened to me, but it doesn't mean that it is who I am and it doesn't define me. It just makes me a better person from growth. I went through this. You know what? These are scars. I'm stronger for it. You know what? I've been through that. And it's like David Goggins' cookie jar, right? He talks about the cookie jar. And all these things happen and they're different cookies. And then when shit hits the fan, you just get a cookie and say, look, this is what I went through and I can achieve it. I can grow from it. I can overcome this because I've already been through X, Y, and Z. So you have this tool belt with you called life. And you can grow from that and you can inspire others. You remind others that they have theirs too. We're never victims.
Wow. My son is going to be so inspired from this one because I am. Yeah. Wow. That's so true. No. True. Yeah. Wow. You have any questions for Kayla there, Chase?
You ask this every time, and whenever you ask it, my mind just goes, it shuts off.
It's okay.
Yeah. I'll think of some. If you keep it going a minute here, I'll think of one.
If not, you can sing again.
Yeah. I just like that.
I'm really impressed. You have you're very genuine, and I can tell that. Yeah. And I'm really impressed by how well you've exercised the skill of being present and that kind of thing.
Thank you.
And something I don't even think that Brian knows about his logo is if we look at the logo there, that circle is called an Enzo, right?
Okay.
An Enzo is a Zen painting technique where it's pretty much where you meditate, and then it's a moment in time where the mind is free to let the body create. So it's total presentness.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's kind of like a double entendre when we were making your logo that I don't even think you knew anything about yet.
No.
I felt that it might be relevant for this,
Thank
this
you.
show.
It's very relevant. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that, man.
Of course, man.
No, it's true. And there isn't anything I could say that I could just add to what you're talking about, because that's really how I try and live my life as well. You take on things constantly. Stuff happens to us all the time. And it's how we navigate, get through them, and learn from our experiences and
100%.
and walk through moving forward. And because life's a journey. And as long as we get to wake up, it's a gift. We wake up and we're breathing. We get today. What are we going to do today?
Right.
What is it that we're going to make today special? Because we go through so much time and we don't remember all the days. They blend together. Right. But there are certain moments in time that really stand out because they had an impact on us as a person. When my kids were young, I used to my goal was, because they were with their mom, that we weren't together. And so my goal was, when I had time with them, I was going to use examples all day long. I'd pull over in the car and, okay, what could have been better here? You have choices all the time, good, bad, whatever. They have consequences, whether they're good or bad, whatever. And I'm using these examples because I wanted to be 7 out of 10 reasons that made up who they were going to be. So I wanted 10 out of 10.
Of course.
But if I could get 7 out of 10, and they had certain moments in their life, because I read somewhere that by the age was like 10 years old or something, that's kind of the makeup of who this person is going to be, and how they're going to look at life and how they're going to, work, their work ethic, homework, whatever it is, who they're going to be. And I wanted them to think of these 7 things that happened to them that were good things that I tried to implant in them. And I remember the day that my daughter came to me and said, she was 18 and she was almost 19. And she said, I'm going to Africa. And I went, what? And she's like, yeah, but I'm, short. I need this much money and I've raised my own money. And I'm like, why am I just hearing this now? And it's only 2 weeks away. And she said, you've always taught me, do it. Don't talk about it until it's, right there. It's almost done kind of thing. And I'm almost there. And I'm like, okay, so what is this for? And she said, I want to go volunteer at an orphanage. I want to experience another country. And I'm like freaking out. I only have 2 weeks to put this together. And it was the greatest experience she ever had. She wanted to stay longer. They gave her an understanding of how hard it was for me to say goodbye to her.
Yeah.
Because I would show up and visit. If I was there for 10 days to be with her, she'd start crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? I just got here. And she said, because I know the clock's ticking and you're going to have to leave soon, kind of thing. And that's tough on a 5-year-old, telling me this. And I wrote a song about it called Save Me. It's on the new album that's out right now. Save Me on the Story So Far album that Elvis Monroe. But anyway, those kinds of things, going through life and learning from those things and passing it on. And they used to make fun of me. My kids would be so upset. Wow, he's doing that again. And now they're like, we understand.
Thank you.
Thank you. Exactly. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They are. They're saying they thank me for it. They're like, you took the time. And if I didn't get the time that their mom got, I was going to be fun dad, but learning dad and disciplined dad. I was going to be all these things in a short period of time. I get summers with them and things, and we get to do great things together. And now they're young adults who, are living their lives, and it's incredible. But to try and pass those messages along to them, And my son, he's going to be inspired by this one. And it's going to be really tough for him to look at this beautiful lady on video. So, I didn't shout out to Rock Rage Radio at the beginning of the show. The Rock Rage Radio listeners out there, Monday nights at 6 o'clock, this show is on. I'm telling you, listen to it on your radio, but you're going to want to go to YouTube and just watch her speak. I get lost in her eyes.
Oh, stop.
True story. True story. So is there anything we want to leave our listeners here before we go?
I do want to mention, kind of briefly, I am trying to climb Mount Everest in the next 2 years.
Okay.
But I want to do it for charity for it's called Searing Fund.
Okay.
And it is an opportunity for children that are in remote areas of Nepal to have an education, some food, and a roof over their head. So it puts them through boarding school. And it's concentrated towards young girls because there's over 20,000 young girls that are trafficked every single year in Nepal. And so this is actually a fund that can help them put them through boarding school. It only costs $600 a year to put a child through boarding school in Nepal. So I want to raise as much money as I can, draw attention, and make a difference, change a child's life. So these girls grow up to become doctors and nurses, and they really have a shot at life. And there's some videos that I can send to you.
Yeah.
Maybe you could post and link up.
Of course.
And I'll send you the link for if you want to get involved in donating. And anything helps, really.
Yes.
$1 to $5, 100% of the proceeds are going to the foundation.
And we can put the link on the episodes as well. Is there a website or anything
There's
yet?
a website. There's a website for the actual charity, and then I'll send you it's a GoFundMe that I created. So 100% of those proceeds are going to go to Searing Fund.
Amazing. So as I'll tag it, and we'll even put it on the Hero's Journey website as well, a link, that's underneath the episode as well. So that's awesome that you're doing that. That's really cool. Yeah. Again, it goes back to, same kind of thing my daughter did. And she said it was really hard to leave them there. She wanted to stay another 3 months. She gave them a Christmas, and she started new traditions there where they would go to the market, and she'd walk with two of the boys that would call me Mr. Brian. They would call on Wednesdays and call me and sing to me and stuff. So, that's really, what a great heart. Like that's really awesome that you want to help somebody, because it's,
this is why we're here. We're here for each other, to help each other. We have the capacity to change a person's life, and it doesn't have to be something like that. It could be a smile. It could be, just like you said, opening a door, a compliment. It doesn't cost anything to be a good human. So
no, not at all.
Be nice, you all.
I made a friend, and I'll leave it with this, but I remember I was at an art gallery thing, something I was into the, Neil Portnoy. I was Portnoyed, and I was put on the wall at this art gallery here in Las Vegas, and they had an evening, right? And I was talking to some Elvis Monroe Mafia fans, some fans that came. Yeah. And this woman walks by, and she's an older lady, and she was done up so nice, and she had this blue jacket on, and she just looked beautiful in this really nice short haircut. And I just said, "Excuse me, hold on. Excuse me." I go, "You're beautiful." Aww. And she's like, "What?" And I did, but she was, she's 70 something. And her husband starts laughing, and he goes, "What's your name?" I said, "Brian." He goes, "Do you want her?" Joke, and just incredible. Nancy was her name.
Oh,
and
Nancy.
So Nancy ends up showing up at my show 2 weeks ago, and she brought cookies. Her and her husband came to my concert, wow. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, but that right there, just that 30-second interaction, it was a positive thing that turned into all this other stuff. And then I found myself eating cookies on a Saturday night, going, "Nancy made these cookies for me." And all I did was tell her she looked beautiful. And she was a total stranger walking past me, and she lit up, and it made me feel good. And I'm not sitting here boasting about it or whatever, but I'm just sharing how a simple little thing turned into all this other stuff. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You illuminate the path for others, and it's a chain reaction,
Right.
you know, because they will pass that along. So you're spreading the love.
yes,
I love that.
I think there was a Matchbox 20 video that did something like that. It was so long ago, I might have to do a video.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's bring
how
it back.
these little things,
Yeah.
that can chain reaction. So again, thank you so much. I have Kayla Perez here. Yes. And I was afraid I was going to say it wrong. And I did. And I
You
did
got
at the
it
beginning of the show. But I corrected myself, and I even knew that I was going to do it wrong. Chase, dude, this has been great, huh?
I loved this show, man.
Yeah, it was very inspiring, and I felt very zen.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
I'm over here. I want to match her energy, but I can't help it because I get so excited. I'm sitting here talking to her so much that I don't want to talk about. But thank you for being on our show.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Thank you. And we will, again, the link, we will put that everywhere and share and do whatever we can to help you. And I can't wait to have you come on and tell us about Mount Everest when you take that thing.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready.
That'd be killer. So again, to the Rock Rage Radio listeners out there, thank you so much. As they say, we are everywhere. To my sponsors, S&P Inc., Chase, S&P Inc., those guys are awesome, huh?
Oh yeah, I love those guys.
Yeah. So, and they're actually, we'll get into that later. But JPS Computers, Alex and Jesse, thank you guys so much. And to Red Rock Harley Davidson. And Kayla, she rides Harleys just like I do. I'm going to jump on my Street Glide and head out. But if you guys, if you find yourself wanting to get a Harley, you can actually reach out to me because they let me keep my license. I can meet you at that store and help you get on a bike. We'll find the right one for you that fits whatever you want. And that's not a sales pitch. I'm literally saying I'll help you, whatever it is. Red Rock Harley Davidson in Las Vegas. My name's Brian Hopkins. That's Chase, the voice. And this is a Hero's Journey podcast. Thank you, Kayla.
Thank you so much.
Dream, and I believe it's coming around to me.